Hi, I'm Ryan McKeen.
And I'm Brittany Green.
Welcome to episode 3 of the Way podcast.
Welcome to The Way with your best era hosts, Ryan McKeen and Brittany Green. The podcast where we dive deep into the world of legal business and marketing. Each week, we'll be discussing the latest trends, strategies, and insights that are shaping the legal industry. So whether you're a lawyer, marketer, or business owner in the legal industry, this podcast is for you.
Hey, Brittany.
How are you doing today?
I am doing well. I'm surprisingly not jet lagged after coming back from Salt Lake City on Wednesday. I was so energized by Nelly at the Lex Summit conference. I'm feeling good. How are you feeling?
Yeah, same. I think this was every year I say, oh, this is the best Lex Summit that they've had, and they just somehow manage to outdo themselves every single year. So I don't know how they're going to top Nelly next year. He was good.
He was really good.
He was very good.
I had no expectations for Nelly whatsoever. I hadn't listened to him since college, and getting to see him on stage, he was energetic. It was a corporate gig, so you just don't know what you're going to get. And he brought it. He was engaged. He was having fun. He broke out the hits, and he looked good. I mean, he's 50 years old, and I was like, he looks like he could suit up for the Patriots or something this weekend.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And having it in the Utah Jazz Stadium on the floor there, that was a whole vibe. It was very cool, very cool.
The whole thing was awesome. Filevine did an amazing thing with Lex Summit. They just keep raising the bar of what a legal conference could and should be with it's so thoughtful, excellent speakers, excellent panels, discussions, hallway conversations, vendors, events. Everything is so well done. My big takeaway from it is the community, the progressive thinking, the real desire to do it better. It's why we came up with the name Best Era, which is really hoping people were there to bring better to their firms, to their clients, and their lives. And it's really inspiring for me to be around a whole bunch of amazing, like-minded people.
Yeah, I think my favorite part is, of course, I mean, we're always there, right? There's obviously our familiar faces every year that come back year after year because we just love Filevine so much. And, right, the atmosphere they bring, the new energy every year. But I also love, one, it keeps growing, right? I mean, I think they said they had about 700 last year. They had over 1,000 this year, something like that, attendees. And it just always seems like they draw, these people that have just signed on to Filevine, may not even be on Filevine yet, that are all just younger or want to really take their firms to the next level, which sort of ties into actually what we're going to talk about today, right? The firms that help themselves there with setting themselves up for success with systems, right, and the right kind. But yeah, I just love that. It just seems like the energy there, the people that I talk to and hear, they're like, oh, this is my first year. This is the coolest conference I've been to, and they're all just so excited about what Filevine's doing for them.
Yeah, one of the things I think is really interesting is I've been to all the Lex or Legal Lex summits that Filevine has done. The first one, it was 70 people in Park City, all personal injury lawyers. Yep. And now it's they have to have their event at the Delta Center where the Jazz play. And there were people practicing all kinds of law. Mm-hmm. I mean, you had personal injury lawyers, you had immigration attorneys, you had family lawyers, you had big law firms, you had a whole bunch of people running Filevine. And it was an impressive ecosystem of people and of practices. And it's fun because one of the things is that so many firms, no matter what niche they're in, face the same issues. So it is fun to see, and it really is a nice segue into talking about what it is that we want to talk about, which is, two problems that we really see law firm owners have. Problem number one is there's firm owners who struggle to acquire cases. And problem number two is the second set of problems is when they either overcome that hurdle, which they can, or they there are people in this industry, for whatever reason, they fall out of bed and they catch 2 or 3 cases. And what happens is they wake up one morning and they have 400 cases and they're one lawyer. And everything is a struggle. It is their cell phone batteries die from text messages and their phone's ringing, and they can't escape the practice that they have created. And so really what we're going to talk about is, once you've got that marketing in place, once you've got that steady flow of clients, how is it that you flip that switch and not be run by your business and actually you run that business?
Yeah, and I mean, I think one of the first problems we see a lot with some of the people we talk to is just the actual concept of getting out of your own way, right? And also setting aside a little bit of your ego, because I think we hear a lot from law firm owners that say, I mean, I always have to be the one talking to the client first because I'm the only one that knows how to close the deal, right? I'm the only one that can sign that case. I'm a good closer on the phone here. That's certainly a big one we see. And like Ryan said, if you're the one that's, your cell phone's always ringing off the hook, but you're also in court or, filing briefs, whatever you're doing, I mean, you're going to be missing calls. You're going to be missing calls that could be better cases than the ones you picked up. So you're really limiting yourself first and foremost if you're the one that truly believes no one else can get the case better than you.
Yeah, that's a real big one, and that's a real big struggle. And it's identifiable to me as a lawyer, right? Like I went to law school, I did this, I've got this practice. People are reaching out to me for their solution to the problem, and it feels really good. Like when people are asking you for help, when you've got to that position in your career that people are turning to you, it feels like validating in a way, and it's a little bit intoxicating. But once you hit a certain point, you are doing your career and your clients and your business and your employees a complete disservice, okay? Because that is not the reason that they are reaching out. They are reaching out because they have a problem. They have some problem in their life and they need help. They need some solution. And I can tell you, having been a solo attorney, having run a firm of 40 people, having been highly involved in client onboarding and cases, having handled hundreds of cases, if not thousands of cases myself, and also having removed myself entirely from that process. And towards the end of the time at our firm, I wasn't handling any caseload. I can tell you that the clients don't care. They want a solution to their problem. They want to be heard. They want competent systems. They want to have their calls returned. They want to be communicated with. They want results. They don't want their project lingering around. That's what they want, not you. So if you are spending a lot of time trying to sign up clients and taking every single phone call, yes, you may be converting 95%, 100%. Right? But you're going to miss calls. And so, I mean, there was an example of a firm that we were talking with, and, they get 10 good calls a day. He's able to sign, this lawyer's able to sign 5. But what if you go 5 for 5? What if you had somebody who could sign 8, be 80% as good, 8 out of 10? Well, guess what? Every day you've added 3 clients. So don't worry about the 2 that this person didn't close that you think you could have closed. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But think about the 3 you're missing by doing that job yourself.
Right, exactly. And I think a lot of firms then struggle with, well, how can, especially if their face is the brand, right? They've touted themselves as the owner, the lawyer of the firm. They struggle with thinking like, well, if I'm not the one that my clients think is actually on the case, like, yeah, how does that look? How does that feel? And I think we even got this question specifically in our Slack group the other day of how do I trust that our personal brand is sort of happening at all levels of the firm, right? And that's like their concern, is that if they get taken off of intake, like how do they make sure that their values remain in intake with other people? What do you think?
So there's a little bit of a hack to this, which is what we would do here, what we do at the firm was say, look, if they wanted to talk to me, if I was available, I'd talk to them.
Right.
Okay, but you have to talk to our client success team, our intake team. You have to talk to the case manager first. So that way, when I get the file, I have some idea as to what is going on. And usually what would happen is sometimes if I could take the call, I would. Sometimes we would set an appointment like a week or two out. And often by that time, they had bonded with the case manager. They had bonded with our fantastic intake lawyer at the time. And you know what? That 2 weeks, they'd cancel that appointment. They wouldn't even want to talk to me anymore. But look, if people are calling, like, you don't have to be a diva or something. You can engage them, but you should do it on your terms. So, hey, I can schedule a call with the owner tomorrow. I can schedule a call a week from now. They're in court. Whatever the case may be, give them an outlet for that. Let that happen. And say, look, in the meantime, it's really important that we start working on your case. I get the information. I'm going to make Ryan, the owner, aware of this case right away. They can do that through, Slack or email or whatever internal messaging you're using. And that way you can adequately handle those transitions, so to speak. And I think be the face of your firm, be there for the clients, but on your terms.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've nailed down the fact that to be successful here, we need to step away from intake, let other people handle and close the signing, I should say, of cases. So what happens next, right? So we've decided we're going to step out of intake, but then they still got this whole host of problems on the rest of the case.
So there are a few things I think that really hold lawyers back, and we see this in our Slack group. Before I hire somebody, I want to have a year of expenses in reserve. I want to have 6 months of expenses in reserve. Look, you're in a service-based business. No service-based business should be flush with cash. That's just not the way it works. It's always money in, money out. Your money shouldn't be sitting on the sidelines. You've got to be putting money back into your business or taking it out and using it in your personal life, whatever it is. But you shouldn't be sitting on or thinking you need to be sitting on a year's worth of operating funds, because really and truly, 6 months is a complete gold standard. Oftentimes at the firm, we would operate with 3-4 months in reserve, and we felt comfortable doing that. It was enough time to feel like if there's some issue, we could course correct. But you don't need a ton of money to sit there, and so they will delay hiring. Firm owners will self-sabotage by delaying hiring by thinking they need a year in reserve. Well, look, my thinking in this one is when you hire somebody, you need to have a good faith basis that it can work out. 1. 2, you need to set them up for success. So if you have projects that are right on the 2-yard line, so to speak, and they can help get over them very quickly to settle cases if you're in a personal injury firm, then you can get paid really quickly. They can bring in money. Or if you can put them into a billable position faster, they're going to start making you money faster and earning out your salary. So I really look at that and I think, before you hire in good faith, you probably need 6 weeks of salary sort of set aside to allow that cycle to catch up. So some of it is just mindset, some of it is money management, some of it is just delegating and thinking of yourself as a business. And when I talk to law firm owners, I tell them, do you know anybody who owns a pizza place? Go in and talk to the owner of the pizza shop. Hey, we just got Sally's right down the road.
Yeah,
we gotta try that. And go in and talk to the pizza place owner and explain your business model. Oh, so you answer the phones and you do the bookkeeping, and if you're doing intake, you're essentially the host or hostess, and you serve, you bake. They're going to be like, what the hell is wrong with you? But yet law firms don't operate even as well as most pizza places, where in a pizza place you've got a server, you've got a hostess or host, you've got somebody making pizza, and you've got an admin team to sort of pay the bills and support that, and you've got marketing to get your name out there. So really and truly a mindset thing and a money thing that I think get wrapped up into one.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so if they figure out they need to hire, they need to realize that, you need to sort of spend money to make money. kind of philosophy. So now they've got a team working with them now, but they're still all over the place. What are they doing?
Yeah, one of the challenges is when you're starting or running a law firm, it really is like building a plane when you're flying it. It is tough, but I think you're nudging me here towards an answer.
Yeah.
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 And we just went to Lex Summit, so it can tie back to our opener, which is you need strong systems, and you also need training to support those systems. So a lot of times we look at firms and we're like, what is your intake system? They leave a voicemail, and we call them back. Okay, we're going to do better than that. Or what is your financial system? Well, we need money, we bill the clients. Okay, we're going to do better than that. How does a car accident case go through your firm? Well, it goes to Sarah, the paralegal, and she does it. And these are the honest answers that people give. But when in 2024, as we sit here today, like, you really need to be leveraging technology. You need your systems to create a really replicable process, deliver a consistent result for your clients, and allow your team members to succeed so they're not wondering what they should be doing next. You're helping them, you're telling them, you're doing good work for your clients by building systems. The other sort of component of that is there needs to be training. Like, the many law firms, you come in on the first day, hey, how you doing? Here's your desk, here's your computer, here's your login, and here's your 50 files.
Yep.
That's not setting somebody up for success. So creating an internal wiki, a knowledge database is incredibly valuable. We even have it for our small team at Best Era. 3, now 4. We just grew one. But you need that knowledge database. And one of the things at the firm we did is we started really trying to even level that up by doing Trainual to help people build modules to get that training done so they could not only know what their expectations were, but be comfortable in our systems and better serve their clients. So you can't let the knowledge just sit in your head as to how you're doing things. And you have to, even when you're really busy, if you want to flip this switch, you have to take time, step away, get that information out of your head, get it programmed into your case management system, get it programmed into your wiki, and start really building up those robust training programs, because the sort of process, right, when we've covered this in this episode, is, you've got mindset, finance, you build systems, but there's also a people component. People need to run those systems. And then there's really sort of a last component, right? Because when you build these things, you're going to wonder if they're working. We get clients a lot asking us, like, am I successful? Am I not successful? Where am I performing well or underperforming? And they're really flying a plane without instruments. So I think that the last thing is really getting some data, getting some idea as to what some of your basic numbers are. And it's not to punish people or bonus people. It's just to actually know where you are standing, where your opportunities are, what's working, what's not working, where you should be spending your time. Because as an owner, there's a whole emotional component to this. I feel great. We just settled a case, but we haven't settled the case for 10 weeks. And so even though you got a good fee, well, guess what? Operating funds is pretty low. So, or we haven't signed a case in a while, and then you look back and you say, well, 2 weeks ago we signed 20 of them. And so on average we signed, 7 a week, and we're right on pace with our sort of average 21 week, 0 the next. We're still above board. So really being able to take the emotion out.
Yeah, I think you're right on that data front. I'm sure a lot of lawyers, lead with emotion on that instead of just a logic-based mathematical mind of data's and numbers can't lie, right? And you can detect patterns from those things, like you said. Like, if you weren't paying attention with data, then exactly, you've got a week where, oh my God, no one called, no one signed. But then you go back and you said, okay, but it's okay, because 2 weeks ago we had this huge uptick, and we were actually worried that we were overloading our people, right? Because we were double the cases we normally do. And then you can start to see patterns, right? Where you're like, oh, well, that's because 2 weeks ago it was the beginning of school. And so everyone was back on the roads for work and school buses and this. And, and now people are back to normal. So that's why there was a dip or whatever it may be, right? Oh, it's March, it's spring break. And that's why there was, everyone was gone this week. So of course there was no accidents on the road. No one's driving, whatever it could be, having that data in front of you and yeah, being willing to look at it, pay attention to it on a daily, weekly basis. It does give you predictability. It gives you some peace. And yeah, and it can really answer some big questions for you as you do, quarterly and annual planning.
And there's a component to this too, where lawyers are incredibly good at calculating the cost of things. How much does this software cost? How much is this employee going to cost? How much is this insurance going to cost? And it makes sense. Like, if you're running a business, like, you have to watch out for your costs. You have to try to seek to not minimize your costs, but I think maximize the return on every dollar out, right? So it's like, well, this is cheaper than this, but the more expensive product is 5 times better. Well, what is the sort of economic trade-off? And really what people fail to see, what law firm leaders fail to see over and over and over until they reach a certain level. Like, there's a level where I know firm owners who, they hire people in their sleep.
Right.
Because they know that hiring people is going to make their money. They know that engaging in that marketing campaign is going to bring in clients. People who are sort of newer or not as far along in their journey, they worry. What if I do this and the phone doesn't ring? Or what if this employee doesn't work out? But most of the time it does. Like, money loves action. Like, so if you're out there and you're taking action and you're hiring and you're doing things, like, there's an upside to it. And one of the other weird-ish sort of things that I think lawyers get mired in is, like, I have a profit margin of like 80%. Okay, but your gross revenue is not that high. I'm going to do some basic math here. Like, say you make $100,000 a year gross, and you say I'm a solo and I have my insurance and I electric bill, whatnot. I make $90,000 in profit. I'm saying a 90% margin. That's not accurate, but I'm just going to go with me here, right? Or, you're a $5 million firm and you're making 10% profit. 10% is a low margin. Well, guess what? That's a $500,000 return on you. And really, that should be returned without you working more.
Right.
You've got to sort of flip some numbers and you've got to get used to bigger numbers. But like so many things in this business, Brittany, it is about being intentional. It is about listening to people who have done it. It is about trusting. It is about the consistency. And it's about taking action. Otherwise, like, you are just going to stay where you are forever until you decide not to do it anymore.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think you're right. It just all comes down to that mindset. If you have a clear mindset and vision for your firm, then you just lead all of your decisions with that.
I think that's a good place to end this discussion. But we've got some exciting things going on at Best Era. We are closing out the year with our Slice of Success event, which I don't even know if we talked about on the podcast.
I think we did. Yeah. We well, what was funny is last episode, I think we had sneak peeked it and we were saying how we were just about to launch the tickets, and that was like a day before we were launching them. And then either the day that episode aired or right after, we had sold out already. So we couldn't even really, promote it to all of our channels because we ended up selling out faster than we planned.
Yeah, we sold it out to our Slack community.
Yep.
We had envisioned, we had talked about, well, maybe we can do some marketing funnels or some social media funnels.
Yep.
Nope. The tickets were gone in 2.5 days, and that sold out, and that is going to be awesome. It's going to be at Delamar Hotel in West Hartford, Connecticut. I mean, we convinced people, Brittany, to come to West Hartford in the beginning of December.
I know, right? Not the ideal place you want to be, I think, in Connecticut that time of year, but we're going to make it pretty awesome for them, I think.
Going to be awesome. We've got great speakers. We're going down to New Haven. We're making a Beats. We're doing a class there. We're going to bring in Sally's and Pepe's and Modern so people can sample. We've got amazing dinners. We've got a mastermind. It's going to be super fantastic, and it has me really looking forward to early December, which is kind of an unusual thing to look forward to, but I am pretty stoked about that.
Yeah. Well, as we said earlier, we had to hire a 4th person already because we've got so many things here that we've got planned. I mean, we've gotten, I think we talked about it last episode too. We've got our subscription sort of ready to roll, and, you know, we're almost done with the website so we can get that launched and everything to have all of our products and courses and subscriptions and everything we're doing and offering up and ready to go. So I think we really just, you know, should say stay tuned for that, because it's coming. Like we said, we realized, because we can identify, like, okay, we need to be able to grow here. We need to grow ourselves with another person, because, you know, we were starting to do way too many of those admin tasks that, had we more free time, we probably would already have some of these other things a little more ready to go.
For sure. We're taking our own medicine, and we're growing, and I have some feeling we're going to be growing some more too. And you have been doing a phenomenal job. I hope we do not lose you to the interior decorating committee, because you have been decorating our office, because we've got a long week next week. We got 2 firms coming in, one firm coming up from Texas to come visit us. And so we're going to be working in our firm, in our office, our physical office, for the first time ever. So you've done an amazing job creating, I think, a conference room that is really conducive to people being creative, thinking through things, comfortable, allows them to use their laptops, TV screens. So excited about that. And you put up artwork, like pictures of Cabo San Lucas, which is awesome, because we are, as part of our Bestest Consulting subscription package, we are, if you sign up for that and you're with us for 9 months, you get to spend a week at Nobu Residences in Cabo San Lucas, which is amazing. Like, I was like in rooms next to NBA players and movie people who I don't recognize, but definitely amazing. And the food was out of this world, and Cabo was beautiful. Just a lovely experience. And the best part is we're not going with you. Yeah. That's like you and your family and your friends. It's a recharge, think, week for you down in Cabo San Lucas, and that is included in your Bestest subscription package. So that is exciting, inspiring.
What have you, we didn't do it last time because we talked too long, but I know we originally said we were going to end this sort of stuff with something you're listening to, watching, thinking about recently.
Well, one of the highlights of my week was getting to watch the first live episode of Lunch Hour Legal Marketing. I was going to use that
one. You stole my answer.
So we were out in Salt Lake City at Lex Summit, and we had the good fortune of connecting with Guy and Conrad from Lunch Hour Legal Marketing. We got to have dinner with them. Wild boar was ordered and eaten. It was good. It was dry. It was dry. Get the filet over the wild boar if you're ever out there. Not bad, but sort of like a dry pork chop. Mid, in my opinion. It needs more moisture, but fine. And then we got to see the first ever Lunch Hour Legal Marketing, even though it was breakfast hours, like 8 o'clock in the morning in Salt Lake. Guy and Conrad were fearful that nobody was going to show up, and they had standing room only. In their room. People were so excited, asked insightful questions, and thought it was a good conversation. So I loved seeing Guy and Conrad. I've got a Lunch Hour Legal Marketing hat, which was given to Brittany. Brittany decided
I'm not a hat wearer, so
it didn't match her wardrobe. So I am the one with a hamburger trucker hat that says Lunch Hour Legal Marketing, which is totally on vibe for me.
You totally stole my answer, because I also feel like that was a highlight for me too this week, and just in general. I mean, we're avid listeners of Guy and Conrad's podcast there. I think we share a lot of the same thoughts and perspectives when it comes to legal marketing, so they're great people to check out. And Guy's in our Slack group now. I'm so excited about that. He's going to be a real value to our group.
Super valuable, super smart, generous, and exactly the kind of person that we want in our community. So welcome, Guy. And you know, we'll end it here. I just think, like, one takeaway that was a consistent takeaway, that's a consistent theme of ours, is that branding wins. And we could do a whole episode on this, we're not, but it's very hard for law firms right now to distinguish themselves. You all have awards, you all have good reviews, you all have nice websites, you all have good pictures, you've got some videos done. If you don't believe me, go try to find a lawyer in your niche in some city where you don't know lawyers. Find the good ones from the schlubs. And, you know, I really think it's hard, but it's that branding. And branding it feels like it could be a complicated word, but it's really simple. It is about your reputation. It is about you being out in the community and people knowing, liking, and trusting you. We'll do a whole bunch more, but Guy and Conrad certainly talked about that. So wherever you get the show, we'll link to Lunch Hour Legal Marketing, and by all means, listen to that podcast.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Way with Best Era. Be sure to visit our website, bestera.io. From there, get more resources, insights, and to connect with us directly. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. That way you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep striving for your version of success.